Did you know that white people used to worship black deities? Negroes were first worshipped in Greece and Rome. White masses bowed down to black deities. The rites of Apollo were founded by Delphos and his Negro mother Melinus, and the worship of Black Isis and Horus were popular in Rome and the Roman colonies as far north as Britain. It was actually, in ancient Rome, it was actually common for the Romans to make fun of their own gods, but to worship and respect Horus and Isis, which, by the way, Madonna and Jesus. But we'll get to that, because the worship of Black Isis and Horus existed as far north as Britain, but eventually this evolved into the worship of the Black Madonna and the Black Christ. Christian whites also bowed down to them. Negroes, as was said, were deified in early Greece. They appeared as gods in Greek mythology. The chief title of Zeus, the greatest of the Greek gods, was Aethiopes, which means black. The earliest of gods and messiahs on all continents were black. We have found the black complexion or something relating to it whenever we have approached the origin of nations. The alma mater, the goddess, the founder of the oracles, the Memnon, or the first idols, always black. The pyramids, by the way. The faces on the pyramids, they chipped the noses away so it would be less apparent. They were black too. Thus, the oracles at Dodona and the Apollo at Delphi were founded by the black doves. Orpheus and his bull were black. All the gods and goddesses of Greece were black. At least it was in the case with Jupiter, Bacchus, Hercules, Apollo, Ammon. The goddesses Venus, Isis, Hecate, Juno, Metis, Circe, Cybele were black. And the first gods in antiquity were black. Zeus, Apollo, Osiris, Isis, Buddha, Horus, they just keep going. In the Bible, the ancient days God was described as having hair like the pure wool. The earliest deities were woolly-haired Negroes. Their peppercorn hair was a sign of divinity. Did you know that the Pope's private chapel has a black Jesus in it? In early Christian art, Jesus is almost invariably represented as black-skinned. The Hebrews were dark-skinned people. His feet were like burnt brass, Revelation. His hair was like wool, Revelation. My skin is black, Job. Our skins were black. They are black, Jeremiah. Look not upon me because I am black, Solomon. Joseph, the Jewish historian, wrote that Christ was a man of simple appearance, mature age, dark skin with little hair. And the earliest statues of the Virgin Mary, they're also black. Everything was stolen from Egypt.
All right, Fresh Bailey, you've been in the comments all week, loud, proud, and wrong. So sit down real quick. Let's have a conversation. Just because you don't know something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Historically, wherever you see rice, it came from one of two places, either Asia or Africa. You see, there are only two species of cultivated rice in the world. Oryza sativa, that's Asian rice, and Oryza glaberrima, that's African rice. And West Africans have been cultivating rice for well over 3,000 years. That's why it's known as the Rice Coast. Now follow me. Originating in Senegal, West Africa, there's a dish called Wolof rice, which later became known as Jollof rice. And my Nigerian, Ghanaian, and West African cousins debate over whose dish is the best. Now, in 711 AD, Spain was conquered by North African Moors and Muslims and were gifted with a wealth of knowledge and information about agriculture. You can thank a man by the name of Ibn al-Awam. His agricultural achievements were legendary, but he was a Moor and a Muslim, and the Christians of the day didn't like that, so they erased him from Spanish history. In the 10th century, Africans brought jollof rice with us, and we stayed in Spain until we left in 1492, while the rest of us were kicked out in 1609. You see, the Spanish didn't fully accept rice as cultural cuisine until the 1800s, because Moors and Muslims. And between 1482 and 1516, thousands of Wolof people were living in Spain. You see, Spanish paella is nothing more than West African jollof rice. The name paella comes from the pan it's cooked in, not the dish itself. If it were named after the dish, it would be called jollof rice. Now keep this image in your head as we go forward. You see, in 1519, Cortez and them accidentally brought wheat with them to the New World. They found 3 grains of wheat under a shipment of rice. So why were the Spanish shipping rice to the New World? Well, to feed them and the free and enslaved Africans they brought with them. You see, these highly skilled and highly trained African rice farmers brought with them their knowledge of agriculture to the New World, specifically what will be now known as Mexico. Couple that with the indigenous genius knowledge of agriculture, and in 1559, they were exporting rice from Mexico to the New World. Here's how they tell the story of Africa through their cuisine. Here's arroz de mexicana, West African jollof rice. Here we've got mole, an African mafe, Mexican habanero hot sauce, Senegalese cani hot sauce. Here we have Mexican banana leaf tamales. Here you have African matuke, or lawambo. Here you've got jugo de Jamaica, or hibiscus tea. Here you've got African bishop tea, tamarind agua fresca. Here you've got the same thing in Africa, where the fruit originated. There's a long